might want to think twice about that need for speed, as you'll see some additions to area traffic signs. Chippewa County Sheriff Travis Hakes talks about new traffic data collectors that you'll see around, and this comes after complaints to the office from the public about speed near their homes. The traffic data collectors will get information that include the GPS location, a vehicle count, date and time, that sort of thing, and you can find the full release online with your stop at 715newsroom.com. You remember that guy who stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni?
Somebody once told me the world is macaroni.
Turns out it's more than just Yankee Doodle Dandy. It's America's #1 comfort food.
Today is National Macaroni Day, celebrating the elbow pasta we cover in gooey cheese sauce. And according to the people at Kraft Foods, 54% of us eat it every week. Easy to make. Boil some noodles, make a quick bechamel sauce, and toss in a ton of grated cheese. That'll take you about 45 minutes. Or you can use the box kind, and in 15 minutes you're there. No judgment. Now the question, fork or spoon? I'm Bree Tennis.
You know, Kasper had some time off and he came back looking refreshed. He was in like a bouncier mood. His gray hair was gone. I'm like, wait, your gray hair is gone? Did you go to the salon again? Because he likes to go get spa days, get rid of the grays. And he said he didn't have time to get his hair dyed this week. So instead he just went to the drugstore and grabbed a box off the shelves of hair dye.
Can use the box kind, and in 15 minutes you're there.
Follow Dan Kasper for more beauty tips, y'all. For Sports Talk 105.1, I'm Morgan McCarthy.
What's up, everybody? Good morning and happy Tuesday. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Thanks for making us part of your start. If you are already up and at it, whether you are listening on the radio dials of 105.1 FM or 790 AM, streaming us up online at sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. You've got your smart devices, smart speakers, like your Alexa devices. Got the Wisco Sports App. You can download that. Take it on the go. You've also got the video stream on YouTube. If you don't mind, got a quick sec to click that follow, ring that bell, subscribe button on the YouTube page there. That would be great. But again, multiple ways for you to be joining in on the or for you to be tuning in this morning, and you could join in on the conversation with that Shoe Doctors bullpen line, 715-830-1912. And we got the Section 105 chats up and rolling on our YouTube stream as well. What do we have on the game plan? Well, Brew Crew picking up a come-from-behind win yesterday against the St. Louis Cardinals. Brewers getting the offense going there in the top of the seventh inning, putting up 4 runs, and that was enough to hold on to a 4-3 win. Shane Drowan picking up the win for the Brew Crew. Shane going 6 innings, giving up 6 hits, 1 earned run, striking out a couple. Did issue a couple walks, but he has lowered his season ERA to a 2.97. Chad Patrick coming in and shutting it down for 2 innings, not giving up a single hit. Trevor McGill picking up his 14th save on the season. So Brewers now 23 games above 500, 56-33 overall. They've got a doubleheader today, so let's play 2. First one's going to be shortly after 1 o'clock, and we get Jacob Mizorowski on the mound. And I got to imagine probably looking for a little bit of a bounce-back performance from Jacob and Mizorowski in today's game. So we'll recap and preview this doubleheader day throughout the morning here. But plenty of Brewers talk coming your way. Talk a little bit more about Shane Drone. I know we chatted a little bit about it yesterday, but when you talk about that trade with the Reds, a lot of the focus has been on Kyle Harrison, and rightfully so. I mean, Kyle Harrison deserves all the praise, all the attention, all the love that he has been getting. But Shane Drone's not doing too bad either, right? Not doing too bad either. But, hey, how about this for a fun nugget, too? The Brewers, with that win yesterday, they are now back to even in the National League, in a National League sense, National League history, even record. They're 2,261 and 2,261 in the National League. It's been a hot minute. The Brewers, they're back to even for the first time since going 57 and 57. So it's been a while. Yeah. I think a lot of us probably not too surprised. But first time since 1998. We'll see if they can keep that going here with 2 games coming your way later on today. So baseball talk coming your way. Well, we kind of alluded to it yesterday, and it did happen. It officially became official. Giannis being traded to the Miami Heat. We knew that, but it was officially with the July 6th New Year and that. It was officially announced by both the Bucks and the Heat. And Giannis, if you haven't taken the time, it's about 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes, sits down with former Bucks announcer, former sportscaster Jim Paschke for a little over 30-minute interview. Sit down. That video was released yesterday too. Just kind of, it's rare because I don't think you see a lot of, you don't see a lot of athletes do this, and you don't especially see a lot of superstar franchise greats, kind of take the time to do this. But I think it kind of shows the appreciation and the love that Giannis has for the Bucks, for the Bucks fans. Appreciation for his time with Milwaukee in that. So if you've got like 30-some minutes and you haven't watched it, haven't listened to it, it's well worth it. And may kind of hit you in the feels a little bit. May get you a little sad, may get you a little down. But we'll go through some of the quotes here from Giannis and in that. But John Horst releasing a statement yesterday saying there are few players in the history of professional sports who have elevated a franchise, a city, and a fan base the way Giannis has for Milwaukee and the Bucks. Giannis arrived in Milwaukee from Greece as an 18-year-old with exceptional potential, relentless determination, and an unwavering belief in what could be achieved. In his next 13 seasons, he became one of the greatest players in basketball history, the heart of our organization, and the driving force behind an extraordinary era of Bucks basketball that will always be honored. Together, we experienced moments that will live forever in franchise history, punctuated by the 2021 NBA championship. We celebrated as Giannis earned 2 MVP awards, a Defensive Player of the Year award, a Finals MVP, and delivered one of the greatest championship-clinching performances in NBA history with 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks in Game 6 of the Finals. Just as importantly, we watched Giannis embrace Milwaukee as his home and forge a connection with Bucks fans that transcended basketball. He became an ambassador for our city around the world and a source of pride for our entire state. Through his generosity, authenticity, and commitment to helping others, he touched lives throughout our community and inspired people across generations. On behalf of our entire organization, please join us in expressing our deepest gratitude to Giannis and his family. This decision is in the best interest of both the Bucks and Giannis. I understand the emotions this news brings, and I share them. I'm confident our path forward provides a strong foundation for sustained success as we begin the next chapter of Bucks basketball. We do so with optimism, purpose, and a clear vision to build on our standard of excellence while strengthening our competitive identity and winning culture under the leadership of our new head coach, Taylor Jenkins. To all of you, our great fans, thank you for your unwavering passion and support. Our purpose remains unchanged, to once again build a championship caliber team that makes Milwaukee proud for years to come. One thing is, I felt like when I first read that yesterday, and some of the other stuff throughout the last couple months, they're really putting in a lot of faith in Taylor Jenkins. Like they're drinking the Kool-Aid on Taylor Jenkins. They're putting a lot on his shoulders to really get this team back to the playoffs, to a championship caliber level, and they're, I think, really believing that Taylor Jenkins is the guy to do it. The Bucks also posted about Giannis, who came to Milwaukee 13 years ago as a kid with an impossible dream. Over the past 13 years, we have witnessed you grow into one of the greatest players the game has ever seen, the greatest Buck of all time, and the driving force behind an era of Bucks basketball that will be remembered forever. From the moment you arrived, you embraced Milwaukee as your home. You embraced the team, the community, and everyone who believed you. Your connection with Bucks fans transcended basketball. You didn't just play basketball in Milwaukee. You became the heart and soul of this city. You touched lives throughout our community and inspired people across the world. You believed in this city and its fans when the rest of the world doubted. After 50 years, you delivered a championship to Milwaukee, a dream come true for generations of Bucks fans who never stopped believing. You gave Milwaukee hope. You taught us that loyalty still matters, that hard work can overcome impossible odds, and that a small market city could still be on top, all because you refused to stop believing. For one night, Milwaukee wasn't just watching history, we were living it together. Your legacy in Milwaukee is secured and will always be felt here, in the rafters, throughout the community, and the countless people you inspired, and the way you made an entire city believe that anything was possible. Thank you for believing in Milwaukee and giving everything you had to this city day in and day out. You transformed the Bucks in every way and left your mark on this organization for generations to come. You will always be family. You will always be Milwaukee's champion, forever a part of the city, forever a Buck. Thank you for everything, Giannis. I don't think I've ever seen a team. I don't think I've ever seen a player with such emotional, goodbyes outside of retirements. It feels like it was a breakup that had to happen, but it's still incredibly painful. A divorce that had to happen, but it's so incredibly painful. So it was kind of, if you're a big Giannis fan or maybe a Bucks fan or just a Wisconsin sports fan in general, it was kind of a downer of a little bit of an afternoon yesterday reading some of that stuff and seeing some of the videos in that. But, yeah. Your thoughts? Get it off your chest. Maybe it's a part of your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. All right, what else is grinding your gears? You can send those on over. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying Tuesday. Best ones we'll read up on the air. Just fill in the blanks. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. And we're going to throw a little football into the conversation to spice it up. We're going to do some storyline countdowns to training camp for the Packers, the top storylines heading into camp as it opens up here in just a couple of weeks. So we'll kick that off today. Highlight a kind of a top story each day leading up to the opener of camp. We're going to talk with RJ Cardinal coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll get his thoughts on the new Wisconsin Badger athletic director, too. So lots to get to here this morning. Let's just jump right into it. We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff. We'll throw a little Brewers chat in there. We'll throw a little Bucks with Giannis chat in as part of it, too. So, and whatever the heck else is on your mind this morning. We'll take our first break, and we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. We are 1 month away from today. 1 month from today. From the 6th annual Kasper Classic. And we only have a few spots available in the 1 p.m. 10 a.m. is sold out. 1 p.m., we only got a few left. 7:30, still got some spots open if you want to get into that Surveyor Sam flight. We'll call that the Surveyor flight there. But head to our website right now, sportstalk1051.com, and get your team signed up. We are still looking for some raffle prizes. So if you are interested, whether you're maybe a business or you're just a fan or you want to support Backyard Dreams, we want to talk. So if you're interested in donating a raffle prize, because 100% of the proceeds do go to help fund Backyard Dreams, please reach out. Okay, please reach out, and we would love to chat. So, or if you want to golf, or if you want to sponsor a hole, hey, we'd love to chat here too. So send those on over. Just reach out. We'll put you in touch with the proper peeps and such, but we can definitely use the support there. So, but big thanks right now for our partners so far for the 6th annual Kasper Classic. Can't do it without our good friends from Park Ridge Distributing. Can't do it without our good friends from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, who graciously helping with the meal again this year. And then we got to throw in Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Kelsey Nikolai, Muldoon's Menswear, Dodge, Cambridge, Myron Construction, VFW Post 305, Superior Auto Body, Window World, Home Oasis, Residence Branding, Claflin Construction, and Carpet City Flooring Center. So big thanks to all of our partners again this year. All right, the leadoff this morning, little Brew Crew talk. Brewers picking up a 4-3 win to take Game 1 of this 5-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals last night. Brewers getting the bats going there in the 7th inning after falling 3-0 earlier on in the game. Cardinals able to put up 2 runs in the 3rd, adding on another one in the bottom of the 6th, but the Brewers responded in the 7th by putting up 4 runs to put Shane Drowan in line for his 4th win of the season, and the Brewers bullpen locked it down after that. Chad Patrick picking up his 3rd hold of the season, going 2 innings, not giving up a single hit or walk, and Trevor McGill picking up his 14th save on the season. The final line for Shane Drowan yesterday, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 3 runs, one of them being earned, a couple walks, and a couple of Ks. Shane Drowan has also lowered his season ERA to a 2.97. Talk more about Shane Drowan. We talked a little bit about him yesterday. We talked about, is he a guy that's kind of getting forgotten a little bit in this whole trade from the Red Sox? And I think he is. It's funny that the Brewers yesterday after the game posted, essentially on Facebook and social media, talk more about Shane Drowan, pay more attention to Shane Drowan and such. And, I mean, you have to. What the kid's doing this year is both a reliever and a guy who has started 8 games so far for this team. He's appeared in 18 games, started 8 of those. I mean, he's shown he could be a really good pitcher coming out of the pen. He could give you some length coming out of the pen, but he has also shown that right now, he can be a starter for you too. Whether it's spot starter, I don't know if that's going to be his future, if he's going to, develop into a long-term starter or what. But Shane Drowan, when you look at this Brewers team that is now 23 games above 500, Shane Drowan is a piece of this puzzle, is a part of the reason why the Brewers are at where they're at and why they're playing as well as they're playing, why they are in position to right now go back to the postseason. Shane Drowan is a part of that. Kyle Harrison gets a lot of the attention and a lot of the love from that trade with the Red Sox, and again, rightfully so, and he deserves it 100%. But Shane Drowan a part of that too? Dude, he's been I would say exceeding some of those expectations too. I didn't know what to expect from Shane Drowan. There was some, like, okay, this is a kid that's got some good stuff, some interesting stuff here, some good tools to work with. But, I mean, come on. I think he is exceeding those expectations, too. This kid is – Brewers might have nailed it again with another pitcher, for crying out loud. Again, like, teams should be clamoring, begging. How do you do it, Chris Hook? How do you do it, Jim Henderson? How do you do it, Brewers, with all of your pitchers? The pitching lab. You're going to have to send some spies over there to infiltrate that pitching lab in Arizona. Because you look at some of these guys, these players, these pitchers that have been asked to be contributors and big-time contributors so far this year. It's like, man, Brandon Sproat's pitching better. I mean, yeah, you look at it, 5.13 ERA. Not great. But what have you done for me lately? What has he done recently? I mean, not bad. He's coming off of a game against Arizona. He went 4 innings, giving up 1 earned run. Cincinnati, a little over 5 innings, 2 earned runs. 6 innings against Cincinnati, no earned runs. It's been up and down. There's no question about it. But for a younger guy, we could definitely see the talent there. He's being asked to fill a big part of this rotation right now, but we can see the talent there. Logan Henderson coming back. Obviously, Mizorowski and Kyle Harrison this year. Aaron Ashby. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Coleman Crowe. But Shane Drone, when we talk about this trade, and we're going to be talking about this trade for a few years now, Shane Drone's going to be a part of that conversation too. Like, man, the Brewers got a couple of really good pitchers from the Red Sox. Another player that they got from the Red Sox, David Hamilton, suffered a hamstring injury yesterday. So kind of sounds like he is going to be missing some time here, which probably means now more Joey Ortiz at third base. And given what we've seen defensively from Joey Ortiz, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But the other thing, too, with Joey Ortiz in his last 7 games, the guy's hitting 278. Now, granted, his on base is only 278. He doesn't walk for whatever reason. Joey Ortiz just doesn't walk. His last 42 at-bats, not a walk. How about his last 74 at-bats? The guy has only walked 4 times. Guy doesn't walk. But I'll be honest, I'm kind of curious to see Joey Ortiz maybe be the regular starting third baseman, more opportunities over there. Does that settle him down a little bit from the plate? Because, I mean, when he did have that good offensive year, he was the third baseman. Does that make a difference? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe for some, maybe for not others. But he's a defensive whiz at third base. I mean, he's a great shortstop, but he's already made some fantastic plays and flashing the leather at third base. Or does this maybe open the door for a Jet Williams call-up, especially with the doubleheader? Pat Murphy kind of alluded to it yesterday, that there potentially could be a call-up. Does that open the door for Jet? Does that open the door for Jet? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. We got to take a quick break. Play more Brewers talk coming your way here. We'll start to preview Game 1 and 2. Game 1 and 2 for the doubleheader for today. Jacob Mizorowski is going to be on the mound for Game 1. Are we going to see a bounce-back performance from the Miz kid? Let's preview that. We'll be right back after these quick words. Summer road trips create some great memories, but you know what? Sometimes accidents do happen. If a fender bender puts a dent into your plans, trust the fine folks at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire to get your vehicle looking like new again. Their experienced team provides quality collision repair and attention to detail that helps restore your vehicle and your peace of mind. When life bumps into your vehicle, count on the folks at Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire. Superior Auto Body, our official Backyard Dreams partners. All right, so we've got a doubleheader today. Let's play two, Brewers fans. Let's play two. First game coming your way this afternoon at 1:15. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior on your favorite radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. And then game two will get going at 6:45. Jacob Izarowski getting the start for game one. And I think we're all looking and expecting, I know he is, I know the Brewers are, a little bit of a bounce-back performance from the Miz kid. Jacob Izarowski looking for his 10th win on the season, currently 9-4 with a 1.47 ERA. He's coming off that loss against Cincinnati back on the second, where he went 5 innings, giving up 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, another double-digit strikeout performance, 10. Yeah, I know there was some debate about, the earned runs should have been more. That 1 inning error on Bowers kind of helped his ERA, but nonetheless, still gave up a couple of dingers and such. We're looking for a little bit of a bounce back performance from Jacob Izarowski. When you look at from experience standpoint, there's about a couple games, few games worth for some of these Cardinals hitters going up against Jacob Izarowski. Burleson's got 10 career at-bats, but he's hitting just 100 in 9 career at-bats. Hera is 333 with a 1.178 OPS. You've got Newpar with a 400 average, 1.171 OPS, and 5 career at-bats. Pajes and 8 career at-bats, 335 with a 750 OPS. So, I mean, you got some dudes here who do have a little bit of experience, good experience going up against Jacob Izarowski, but I also feel like Jacob Izarowski is, he's an ace. He's good. I fully expect to have a solid, good, maybe, do we even say vintage? Is that proper to say with Izarowski? Vintage performance from Jacob Izarowski. He did go up against the Cardinals back on the 25th. Part of that May run that he had where he was just electric. Picked up the win, went 7 innings, giving up 2 hits. The lone run he gave up in the month of May was because of the Cardinals. 1 earned run. Did strike out 12 batters in that contest. So, on the other hand, maybe the Cardinals looking for a little revenge going up against Jacob Izarowski too. So, but I fully expect a bounce back. It's not ignorance. It's not cocky or overconfidence. I don't think it's putting a whole lot on the shoulders of Jacob Izarowski. I think if he's going to be an ace and he's going to be the true, one of the better pitchers in Major League Baseball, you have that expectation coming off of maybe a subpar performance. You have the expectation, all right, we're going to come back and we're going to be better. That's what I expect of aces. So I'm not trying to put a whole lot on his shoulders. I'm not trying to set the bar incredibly high on the kid. I just think that's what you have to expect with your aces. If they have a little bit of a down performance, to go out there and bounce back and get the job done. So I know game 2 right now for tonight's game, and it might depend on kind of what transpires in game 1 and such. But if you go to the Brewers, it is a TBD, and it's still kind of officially a TBD. Doubleheader. Maybe there'll be some call-ups to get through it in that, which I fully expect. Again, is this the time? Let me put this out as a poll question, I guess. Is this the time, with David Hamilton, with that hamstring injury, to call up Jet Williams? I know I was talking a little bit about it from the segment prior, but is this the time to call up Jet Williams and get some reps in at third base? Or do you go full-fledged Joey Ortiz? I'm not saying that Joey Ortiz is the answer at third base. I'd be curious to see him, how his numbers continue to maybe improve at third base. So I'm not saying he is the answer to be your everyday starting third baseman, but I'm just saying I'm curious to see his numbers, offensive numbers, if they get better. But I'd be lying if I didn't want to see Jet Williams in there too. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying I think it should happen. Why not call him up at this point? Why not see? Give him some reps, and if you call him up, he's going to have to play. But, I mean, you kind of look at Cooper Pratt, too. Yeah, he's been playing a lot, but not necessarily playing every single day. So, why not? What's the downfall in this thing? You lose David Hamilton here for probably a few weeks with hamstring injuries. So, yeah, unless the Brewers really want to see Joey Ortiz take over that third and they call up somebody short term, the thing is that they're probably going to need another infielder to come in. With David Hamilton, if that hamstring injury is kind of a long-term thing, and when you listen to Pat Murphy yesterday after the game, he did kind of indicate that it might necessitate a roster move. Why not? Call up Jets. Call up the Jet. If there's a guy named Jet, I keep thinking Benny Jet Rodriguez from the Sandlot. I know it's not completely accurate, but come on now. So, all right. What do you think? Should they? I'm on board. I'm on board with it. But so game 2 again, 6:45 tonight. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. So you get a full day of Brewers baseball right here on your radio dials. All right. I know we got to take another break coming up here in just a bit, but if you had a chance to read some of the stuff about Giannis, some of the quotes, maybe you got to watch the video with him and Jim Paschke and that. Did anything kind of stand out to you? And, I mean, when you talk about some of the most, I don't know if there's a better word to describe this, but I'm going to throw it out there, lovable Wisconsin athletes of all time, if we straight up just use athletes, Giannis is on that list, ain't he? I mean, he's tops. From just like a Wisconsin sports fan base, I think if we had to pick one from the Packers, who would it be? I think it'd be between, it's just me now, but I think it'd be, if we kept it to just the players, I think it would be between 3. Favre, Star, White. Mostly Favre and Star. Like, beloved. Even with Giannis going to be playing with another team, beloved. Brewers, Robin Yao. Again, if we just kept it to the players. And I don't think I've seen another team and another player being traded and just kind of the amount of content that came out yesterday, and quotes and goodbyes and such. It was, I don't know, it was rare. I think it was pretty rare. So want to hit that up coming up here in a little bit, but send me your Toys and Forward at Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? Get it off your chest and let us know. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back to wrap up the first hour coming up after these few words. Believe it or not, hunting season preparation starts right now, and there is no better place to gear up than Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls. Whether you are looking to upgrade your deer rifle, pick up a new turkey shotgun, or add a dependable shotgun for traps, sporting clays, or target shooting, Tilden Gun has a wide selection of firearms from the brands that you know and trust. Their knowledgeable staff can help you find the perfect fit for your hunting style, experience level, and budget. Plus, you will find ammunition, accessories, optics, and more to help you get the most out of every trip to the range or into the field. Don't wait until the season is right around the corner. Get prepared now and shoot with confidence later. Stop by Tilden Gun in Chippewa Falls and see why sportsmen and shooting enthusiasts throughout the Chippewa Valley trust Tilden Gun for all of their firearm needs. Speaking of doubleheaders, should also know, too, the Express sweeping yesterday against Wausau, so not a bad way to enter the All-Star break, right? To go out there and pick up a sweep. So they get some much-deserved rest with this All-Star break going on now. So we'll see the Express back in action on Friday when they go visit Thunder Bay for a couple games, and then a couple games on the road against La Crosse before returning home next Tuesday, a week from today. So it'll be a little bit, but not a bad way. Not a bad way for the Express to go into the All-Star break. In fact, let me just see here, kind of where things stand in the standings here. No, La Crosse won the first half championship of the Great Plains East, but Express right now are just half game back from Rochester for first place. The Express 6-3. They handed Rochester a loss, their first loss so far in the second half of this season. So, all right. We'll talk some more Brewers coming up here in a little bit. I want to talk some Giannis. I want to talk a little, kind of start off a Packers training camp storyline countdown, one storyline as we enter training camp here. So we'll do that a little bit later on and such. But Benjamin EC says, speaking of Brewers pitching, I don't get why everyone wants us to make a trade for a pitcher or pitching rental at the deadline. What we need is another big bat, a clutch bat. I think it's just part of it, though, too, is right now with Brandon Woodruff being hurt, I think that's where you want to see a lot of people kind of make a move to go and get another starter to throw into this rotation, to make a dominating lineup, to make a dominating starting pitching lineup. I think if we're being truthfully honest, they could probably use another starter, another bullpen arm, and another bat. Let's be real. We could be buggy, or we could be beggars. We want all three of them. All three of them would fit holes, would fit needs right now with this pitching group. And there's probably just a little bit of concern with you're relying a lot on some unproven younger starting pitchers, not counting Jacob Mizorowski. But outside of Mizorowski, I mean, Kyle Harrison's a newcomer, Shane Drone's a newcomer, Brandon Sproat's a newcomer. If you add in a Skubal or a Ryan or a Sonny Gray, it makes your starting rotation even better. But if we're being honest, they probably need one of each, a bullpen arm, a starter, and another bat. C-Bomb says, what does he got? The Brewers not only have a heck of a pitching lab, they know how to get rid of them. Hader, Freddie, Burns, and the list goes on. If I'm an opposing GM, I would never trade with the Brewers because you know you're getting damaged goods, and they are fleecing you. I always kind of joke, too. I don't know, maybe the Red Sox probably wouldn't want to do a deal again with the Brewers, but I don't know. Sometimes I don't think that's maybe not anytime in the near future, but boy. And like we said yesterday, Caleb Durbin did have a good month of June. I mean, he's up to 8 home runs so far this year. I think if you ask Brewers fans, they would take 8 home runs from a third baseman right now. But he really struggled at the beginning of the year. And I don't think you're going to find too many Brewers fans who are going to be, like, oh, dang, I wish we would have had him and not Kyle Harrison and not Shane Drone now. No, I think we're perfectly happy with that trade so far. Okay, so again, next hour we'll hit up some Bucks chat, and we'll do a little Packers training camp countdown too, as we get closer and closer to the start of camp. In case you're wondering, when does Packers training camp start? Your first day is going to be July 29th. So 3 weeks from tomorrow, the first day of camp, going to be opening up. You got your vacation plans going down there, maybe for some last summer vacation trips before school starts back up. Sorry, kiddos, if you're listening to that. Already seen some stores getting that stuff out there. But then you got family nights on August 7th. So a month from today, it's family night. Ugh. I don't know, like when training camp starts and we get to preseason football, to me, that's like, okay, that's the end of summer. We're into fall. That's kind of where my timeline is at. But we got plenty of baseball to get to yet, especially with the way the Brewers are playing. So, couple more texts coming in here. We've got Dave say, definitely want to see Jet Williams get called up and replacing David Hamilton. I would imagine Hamilton's going to miss at least a few weeks with a hamstring injury. Those are always touchy. Why not give Jet Williams a call up and see what he has before the All-Star break? Another texter, don't have a name, so I can't give you any cred, but they're also saying, I hope the Brewers do call up Jet Williams and give him a shot at third base and maybe go into the All-Star break playing at a high level with a ton of confidence. What does it hurt at this point in time? Well, we'll find out maybe a little bit later on this morning while we're still on the air if there's going to be any moves. I got to imagine there's going to be a call-up, at least a call-up or two. Maybe another arm because it's a doubleheader, and then maybe a position player. Because you look at it from, it's Ortiz and Pratt, and then you really don't have another guy that can play over there outside of Terang, but then that's your second baseman. So they need another infielder, another left side infielder for depth. Why not Jet Williams? Why not? Let's do it. Do it up, man. I don't think it hurts anything. Let's see what he has. So we'll talk a little bit more about Jet Williams, though, and just kind of the season he's having down at Nashville here in a little bit. We'll wrap up the first hour, though, with Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
How's it going, Kasper?
It's going well.
I just had some of our friends had a baby recently, and they named him Jet. I think that name's picking up popularity. Mm-hmm. Now, do you have any weird, new, unusual names in Hudson's friend group in that younger generation? Anything that stands out that you've never heard before?
I don't think it's anything that I haven't heard before, no.
I heard a Callaway, and I thought he was that a golf thing, right?
Yeah. Nice.
They call him Cal.
Yeah.
All right, Tuesday tussle time, so I'm going to ask you a couple quick action results. You tell me, drinking age should be 18.
No.
No? What should it be?
I'm going to stay at 21.
You think so?
Yeah.
You like it at 21? Yep. If you had to pick a new one, if there was like you can't be 21 anymore, would you go older or younger?
For the
drinking age?
Maybe younger at 20.
What about voting?
18.
You think 18 solid? There's talk of moving the voting age to 16.
No.
Do you think we should move the driving age up or down?
Kids don't want to drive apparently anymore.
It's not a big of. That's all we lived for was to get our license, and it's not that huge of a. Siggy's in the middle of right now doing her lessons, and she's got to test, for her license and stuff. But it was all we cared about.
I know,
and it's not quite the same.
I heard that the other day from a parent. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Do you remember getting your license? Was it first time for you?
We don't need to talk about that.
Oh, that's a no. And you can't drive a stick. Ruh-roh. We won't pick at that scab anymore. How about standardized testing? Should it be abolished or continue?
I hate standardized testing.
Who likes it? No, because it isn't a mark of intelligence, in my opinion. In my opinion, it's your mark of the ability to take a test, maybe.
And I think the name standardized right there just kind of like gives it this awkward.
Yeah.
Like, do we want kids to be standard?
Do you have ACT or SAT? Do you have to take one or the other or both?
ACT.
Do you remember your score for that?
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that either. So we don't need to bring that stuff up.
Did you pass it first time? Not like your driving
Well, there's
test.
not really a passing grade for ACT.
Would you rather parallel park or tell us your score for the ACT?
I parallel park.
All right.
I'm a good parallel parker. So
Oh, that's what they all say.
I'm good. Yes.
Please.
All right. Thanks, Margs.
Anytime.
1 in, 3 more to go. We'll be back after these news updates. All right, here we go. Second hour, kick it off right now on this Grind My Gears Tuesday. It's a Toys Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What the heck is grinding your gears? You can let us know by hitting us up with a quick text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line or join in on the video stream chat on our YouTube page. Don't forget to ring that bell and follow the YouTube page if you don't mind. We're going to get back to some more Brewers talk coming up here in a little bit as we get set for the doubleheader today. Brewers picking up a 4-3 victory yesterday. So Brewers have a chance if they win these two to already win the series. Take 3 out of 5, 5-game series here. Surveyor throwing out a question for the fine listeners out there. Morning, DK. I hope you and everyone listening had a wonderful Independence Day. I know I'm early with this, but am I wrong for saying today is the most important day on the Brewers schedule? Doubleheader against the Cardinals to possibly go up close to 8 games on the division. Maybe at the current point in time, I don't know. What do you guys think and gals think? What do you think? Let me know, and I'll relay it back to Surveyor. I want to talk a little football here. I want to do a little bit of a countdown. I want to do a little bit of a training camp countdown for the Packers. Top storylines, top things to watch as we get set for training camp that'll start 3 weeks from tomorrow. Some start earlier, obviously, but Packers' first practice will be 3 weeks from tomorrow. So we'll kind of do our little bit of a countdown and that. But Giannis, yesterday it officially became official. Giannis, no longer a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. He is now with we're number 7 too for the Miami Heat. So number 7. Not going to see 34 dawning for the Miami Heat. It's going to be number 7. So that might be a little bit different to see that. Bobby Portis, I think, was at 95. He's going to wear for the Heat. But a long interview that that Giannis did with Jim Paschke that was released yesterday in video form. I'm not going to play the whole 30-some minute video, but you can go out there and check it and that. But I would say some of the highlights for me when I sat down and watched it was, well, there was a few things here. A lot of it was reflection, kind of looking back where everything's at right now at this point in time, and that. And it was really good. I mean, I don't think there was anything that was like earth-shattering, breaking, or stuff like that. Like, if you're gonna want to watch it, I mean, there's not going to be a whole lot of like, oh my God, this is actually what happened. But a couple of things is that I thought it was a good question from Jim Paschke. Used to be Bucks announcer, play-by-play guy. And it was a question that, remember with Favre and the whole retirement thing, and Favre was asked, what would your dad say about this whole thing? And Paschke asked Giannis, what would your dad say? What would your dad say to do throughout this whole thing? And I thought it was a good question. And Giannis responded by saying, go to an uncomfortable situation that allows you to grow and chase your dream no matter what. Go chase one golden trophy. And Giannis did admit that he's scared. He's scared of this because he said, quote, I'm scared of change. I'm scared that the grass is not always greener. I'm scared of, I have things here. People love me here. People respect me here. People allow me to be myself in the city. I'm scared I'll never have that again. So I appreciate the honesty from that. And I think that is something that is lost in this sports world, this 2026 era that we live in. He admits he's scared. He admits that the grass may not always be greener. And I think it is completely normal to be scared, but also maybe excited about an opportunity that is in front of him to go to the Heat, taking a risk. We talk about all the time in our normal lives, taking risks, whether it's maybe for your profession, for your job, or chasing your dreams or whatever. He's scared, but he's taking a risk. And I know some people are going to roll their eyes because it's like, oh, yeah, he's already making all these millions and all that risk. Stop. I appreciate the honesty that he is displaying, saying, hey, I like my privacy. Milwaukee gives that to me. Essentially what he said, I like being in a smaller market because they give me the privacy. I like all this stuff, and I'm worried about it, that I'm going to lose that. Well, that's a risk, and I could probably tell you right now, yeah, you're probably going to lose it. You're probably going to not have that ability. So the one other part too, he talked a little bit about Jabari Parker. Flashback, remember 2014 with that draft? It was Andrew Wiggins. It was Jabari Parker. The Bucks had the second overall pick. And we all kind of assumed, like, the Timberwolves had the number one pick. They were going to get Wiggins. And I think we were all excited as Bucks fans. Like, hey, we're going to have a 1-2 punch of Giannis and Jabari Parker. And it didn't work out that way. Jabari suffered a lot of injuries. But Jabari still had a big impact on Giannis. Giannis said, I was able to measure myself against him. Every single day I said, okay, if he works 1 hour, I'll work 1.5. If he works 2 hours, I will work 2.5 every single day. I've never told him this, but he motivated me so much, but motivated me to be so much better because he was so dang good. And finally, Paschke asked, would he consider it a failure if he doesn't win again? Now, remember, Giannis in 2023, after the Bucks were ousted from the playoffs, that famous failure quote speech that, drew some criticism, but also drew some praise, where he kind of said there's no failure in sports. Giannis responded by saying, if God tells me that one championship is what my journey is supposed to be, I am extremely blessed, and I will never question the things he has in store for me. I want a second one, and I believe I am capable of doing it. I think I've been blessed with incredible talent and incredible willpower to put the work in and chase that. If it doesn't happen, I won't look back and say, yeah, I failed. Everything's a part of a journey, and everything leads to something. So I would never look back and say, I failed. No way. So again, I think it is incredibly rare to see, after a franchise great, all-time great, who's traded, not retired, but traded. Yesterday, we saw an outpouring of a bunch of comments, posts, goodbye stuff that we rarely see. And I think if there was any doubt throughout this whole situation that, did Giannis really like Milwaukee? Did he really enjoy playing for the Bucks? Did he like that sort of stuff? Take about 30 minutes and watch that sit down with him, and you could tell. You could tell he's down that his time in Milwaukee is over with. I think he's excited about the future with Miami. But it's the end of a chapter, and it's the end of a chapter. Let's face it. Like he said, he came in 18. That's his home. That's where he has spent the majority part of, or a big portion of his life, 13 years. Married, kids there. Family all came over there. So it's a big change for this person. But like Jim Paschke said in the piece too, he's always going to be welcome back. He's always going to be welcome back. He's always going to be there. Maybe I'll play a little bit of a clip coming up here later on in that. But all right, let's take a quick break. Let's switch gears here for a hot minute, and let's chat a little football. Every day, let's do a little bit of a countdown. Top storylines, top things to watch as we get set for Packers training camp. That'll be starting 3 weeks from tomorrow, inching a little bit closer and closer and closer. Some teams will start earlier in that, but Green Bay, we know, starts 3 weeks from tomorrow. So let's have a little fun with this one. Kind of get set towards the start of, I can't believe it, football season. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back after these few words. Summer cookout season is here, and nobody does summer grilling better than Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. From premium steaks and fresh burgers to brats and chicken, you will find quality and value throughout the store. Before your next cookout, stop by Mike's Star Market and stock up on the freshest ingredients around. You can visit them today at 2238 Heimstead Road, and make sure you follow their Facebook page as well. Mike's Star Market, helping make every summer gathering a memorable and delicious one. Had a chance to, last week, try their new bourbon brats. Chef's kiss. Awesome. They were awesome. So make sure you go and picked up a few different flavors over there. It's like a kid in a candy store if you're having me go through a butcher shop and seeing different flavors of brats, for crying out loud. So, but they were fantastic. Highly recommended. We're going to talk football, Packers football here in a second, but okay, this is something. So if you go to ESPN.com, there's an article up by Seth Wickersham, and it's an in-depth look at the Broncos' postseason run, as et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here's a nugget in this thing, which I find, well, amusing, interesting, like what sort of thing. Per Seth Wickersham, when Bill Belichick and the Patriots went their separate ways in 2024, Sean Payton considered presenting Broncos owner, I'm reading this from Adam Schefter's Twitter account, consider presenting Broncos owner Greg Penner a proposal for the ages. Hire Belichick as head coach until he reached 15 wins, enough to break Don Shula's career record of 347. Payton would temporarily step down to assistant head coach and run the offense, then move back after Belichick became the all-time leader. In the end, it was too complicated and maybe too fanciful. Now, that, if there's criticism with the Michael Strahan sack record for all those years when it was out there, okay? Well, Favre slid and took a dive and all. This one, I'm sorry, but if this were to happen, yes, they'd still have to win. Yes, that's probably going to take, 2 years to do that on average? So Belichick would have had to have been head coach for, let's say on average, 1.5 years, 2 years. That would have just looked kind of, what's the best word to maybe describe that? No. But can you imagine if that happened? That thing would be talked about, and that thing would be scrutinized through the years, through the generations. I mean, wow. I guess maybe I'll find out, and if I haven't read the piece, but I'm kind of curious, like why Sean Payton thought about doing that or wanted to do that. Like I don't know. Because what would have happened? I'm just going to throw this out here for a little what if. What would have happened? Let's say, okay, you do that. Broncos go and win the Super Bowl. Who gets credited with the win for head coach? It's Belichick. It's not Sean Payton. So that would take a hit on Payton's legacy, because if Payton wins another Super Bowl as a head coach, that's going to improve his Hall of Fame chances in a crowded coaching class that there's still, in my opinion, quite a few coaches that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. So that's weird. I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of curious, like, is there a special relationship between Belichick and Payton? I know they're Parcells guys, but is that the only thing? All right. So Packers will be starting training camp 3 weeks from tomorrow. Let's do a little bit of a countdown of the top storylines, the top things to watch as we get into training camp. Let's not bury the headline right away. One of the top ones, if not the top one, Josh Jacobs. What's the deal with Josh Jacobs? and the running back group behind him. It's a big question mark. Now, if you're wondering what's the latest, I mean, this is from wearegreenbay.com. The case remains open, according to the Brown County District Attorney's Office. No decision has been made on whether or not to criminally charge Jacobs for his role in the reported incident. That the investigation is still ongoing and that more information will be released should a charging decision be made by the district attorney's office. So this is usually one of the biggest storylines to follow into training camp, because if there are charges, then it really, I mean, if we look at it from just a football perspective, it puts a big question mark on the running back group, but also one of your better offensive players. So if it's not Josh Jacobs, you're putting your eggs in the basket of Marshawn Lloyd. How you feeling about that? How comfortable? I'm not feeling comfortable about it. I ain't feeling great about it. Maybe he would actually be healthy and go out there and showcase the talent that I think a lot of people we know the kid's got talent. It's just it's very Garrett Mitchell like. Hasn't been able to stay healthy. Hasn't been able to showcase that. So if Josh Jacobs doesn't play this year or misses a significant amount of time, you really have some big question marks at that running back position, because you're going to be putting a lot of faith into Marshawn Lloyd, Chris Brooks, who to me is kind of like a Tony Fisher-esque third down back. You're going to need some help. And the fact that Green Bay hasn't done, now maybe they do it right before training camp. Maybe they bring in a veteran. We're starting to, maybe see some of these veterans. We saw Rasul Douglas signed with the Commanders yesterday. Honestly, with that deal, I wouldn't mind if it was Green Bay. But, for names who are available, you're looking at maybe a Joe Mixon. And a lot of these guys, their names, but they're banged up. They got a history or injury history. Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, Antonio Gibson, Nick Chubb, Ogunbowale. A lot of these guys, they are still free agents for a reason. And some of these guys, they're going to sign right before training camp, or they're going to sign within training camp. But I got to imagine Green Bay, and maybe the Packers know more. I'm sure they probably know more, right? I'm sure they probably know more about the situation. But if they don't, they're going to be holding their breath, because if you don't have Josh Jacobs this year for a team that's got Super Bowl goals and Super Bowl aspirations, that is a huge hit on the offensive side. And it changes the game plan of what they want to do on offense. Now, we were just kind of saying, too, yesterday, we were going through ESPN's top rosters. And they noted some of the analytics, some of the numbers out there show that maybe the Packers need to put the ball into Jordan Love's hands more. Well, if Josh Jacobs isn't playing, you're going to be forced to be putting the ball in the hands of Jordan Love more. So there's that thing. Maybe you take a page out of the 2007 Packers playbook. If you remember that season, before Ryan Grant emerged as the go-to running back that season, it was Brandon Jackson. And the Packers really couldn't get the running game going. What was the Packers running game? What was termed as the Packers running game? Do you remember? It was short passing game. 5 wide receivers, spreading it out. getting the ball out of Favre's hands quickly. That was the Packers' running game until Ryan Grant emerged. It was Donald Driver. It was Greg Jennings. It was Robinson. Remember Corn Robinson for a hot minute? James Jones. Just getting the ball out quick and letting them do some yak. I still remember the ESPN Sunday NFL countdown feature that they did on yak. That was the big topic that year for Green Bay. Yards after catch for these receivers. They were good at it. But remember that running back they tried going with, Deshaun Wynn, Morency, Brandon Jack. It just, no. Until Ryan Grant emerged. So maybe that's a little bit, maybe it's, if they have to play without Josh Jacobs, do they incorporate a little bit of a quicker passing game? I mean, you'd think with guys like Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, heck, even Christian Watson, you got a Tucker Kraft in there, Savion Williams. You'd think you'd be able to do that. You might have to set up the pass to set up the run. But there's no question, running back group with the uncertainty surrounding Josh, running back group was probably going to be a topic or a storyline to follow, even if there wasn't anything surrounding Josh Jacobs, just because of the depth and the unknown about Marshawn Lloyd. But now you throw in the Josh Jacobs stuff, it is a big question mark heading into training camp. It is a huge question mark. These are your running backs. Get to know them. Outside of Josh Jacobs, we know Chris Brooks. We know Marshawn Lloyd. Damian Martinez, Jaden Nixon, Pierre Strong Jr. That's what you got right now. All right, so we'll continue kind of a countdown, top storylines, things to watch as we get to training camp up until, 3 weeks from tomorrow. So, all right, we got to take a quick break. Don't forget, send me your Toys and Ford at Grind My Gears. What's grinding your gears? Also, it is a, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying Tuesday. So I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Best ones we'll read up on the air. So, all right, we'll take a quick break. Back with a whole lot more coming up after these few words. Looking for the perfect summer hangout? Well, then you need to make your way on over to the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire. You can enjoy some beautiful views overlooking the river, some great food, cold beverages, and some of the best live music that you will find anywhere in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're meeting some friends after work or spending a summer evening outdoors, the VFW Post 305 is the place to be. Great views, great music, great times, all happening at the VFW Post 305. Also, don't forget, thanks to our friends from AJM Automotive. They want to give a veteran an oil change for a year. Free oil change for a year. You can nominate that veteran by going to the VFW Post 305 on Star Avenue, 1300 Star Avenue. Go nominate that veteran over there. And a big thanks to our fine friends, John and AJM Automotive, for doing that to help out our veterans. So go nominate that veteran for free oil change for the year. So, all right, we got a few messages to get to here. We've got Zach on the video stream with a couple messages. Agree with you, Dan. Lloyd has a ton of talent, but we haven't seen it on the field yet. I would definitely be exploring options in free agency, like a Joe Mixon or a Chubb. You know what grinds my gears? I started a new career recently, and now I can't play in the Casper Classic. Gosh darn it. Dang it, Zach. No. Jobs. Congrats on the new career, though. So that's the big thing. Don't forget, we only have a few more spots left. So got to get on over to sportstalk1051.com, WAYYradio.com. Sign up right now. Just a few spots left in at 1 p.m. 10 a.m. is all sold out. We are looking for some more sponsors and definitely some raffle prizes, some raffle donations, because that's where our Backyard Dreams funds come from. So if you would be interested in donating a raffle prize to help out Backyard Dreams, please reach out. What else do we got? We got a few more messages to catch up on. This was from Dave a little bit earlier. Definitely would like to see Jet Williams get called up for the Brewers today. I think it's time to give him a shot to be the everyday starting at third baseman. And another texter, this was from Seth. Seth said with David Hamilton possibly being out for the next few weeks with a hamstring injury, I think the Brewers would be dumb to not call up Jet Williams. Let's see it happen. Brewers again, doubleheader today. We've got Jacob Mizorowski on the mound for Game 1. He's looking for his 10th win on the season so far. Looking maybe for a little bit of a bounce-back Game 2 after his loss in his previous start. So, yeah, if you look at the line, it's like, they only gave it one earned run. If you followed along with the game and you get the game, or you were watching the game or whatever, listening to the game, it wasn't Mizorowski's best performance this year, giving up a couple of home runs too. He was off. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to every pitcher. But I think, I kind of said in the first hour, I've got the expectation, and I don't think it's putting a lot on his shoulders or getting my hopes up too high, but I've got the expectation that he's going to have a bounce-back game. I think if you're going to be the ace and you're going to be one of the best starting pitchers in Major League Baseball, that should be the expectation that, okay, you have a little bit of a down performance, you bounce back the next game. And you go out there and you have a little bit more of that vintage performance, that dominating performance that we've come to expect. And that's what I fully expect to see from Jacob Mizorowski today. Let's hopefully he does it. And he last time played the Cardinals. Cardinals were the one team in the month of May that gave him the only earned run. So maybe there's that extra motivation there too. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. What else do we got here? We got a few more texts. I'm trying to catch up on some of the messages here this morning. This is about Giannis. This is from Ben on our Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Ben saying, I am really going to be missing Giannis. That I watched that 30-minute video yesterday, and got all the feels. What a great role model, and it was a pleasure to watch him suit up for our state basketball team for the last 13 years. Definitely is going to be missed. Did you see the part where he talked about Garnett coming back? I did see that part too. I should bring that. Maybe I'll bring that up before the top of the hour. I'll look up that portion of the conversation here. But I did see him talk about Garnett coming back to like the Timberwolves and how he was welcomed back and such. I honestly believe that Giannis wants to play again for the Bucks at the end of his career. I feel like he feels like that would be the perfect bow to end his career. If he could come back to Milwaukee and finish his career. May not be at a high level. I mean, Garnett wasn't playing at an incredibly high level when he went back to the Timberwolves. But I think that would mean a lot to Giannis. And I honestly feel like that's a goal of his, is to somehow find a way back to Milwaukee and play again for the Bucks to wrap up his career. I truthfully believe that's what he'd like to do. Tell you what, let me find that clip. I'll take a quick break and I'll find that clip here. So, this I don't think this is, that's the short version of it. All right. So I'll take a quick break. We got RJ Cardinal coming up next hour too. And I'm really curious, really anxious to get his thoughts on the Badgers' new athletic director. So RJ will be joining us at about 8:20 this morning for our Badger chat. Quick break, and we'll be right back to wrap up the second hour after these few words. Summer is almost here, and that means it's time to hit the road and something that you love. At Toyson Ford, you'll find summer is here. I shouldn't say almost here. It is here, man. At Toyson Ford, you'll find a great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles ready for every adventure. Looking for power, comfort, reliability? Hey, they've got it all. Backed by a team that's committed to making your car buying experience easy and stress-free. So whether it's a weekend getaway or your daily drive, make sure that you are riding in style this summer. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, where your next journey begins. All right, so this is a little portion quick of the Giannis and Jim Paschke sit down. It's over 30 minutes, a little over 36 minutes, but this is a little portion of it from Giannis possibly talking about maybe coming back to Milwaukee at some point. So audio courtesy from, well, Giannis' own YouTube page.
I've played only in 2 teams in my life. I've been here 13 years in the team. Prior to the Bucks, I was there for 4 or 5 years. This is where I raised my family. This is where my kids were born. This is mine. This is my home. This is where I built all my memories. This is when I became who I am today. Some people talk to me in the street and they say, Giannis, always do what's best for your family and do what's best for you. You've done so much for the city. And I can remember the time where I was when we won the championship, and I've been waiting for this for 30 years.
They will always remember that.
Yeah.
That will never go away.
Yeah.
That will always be yours.
I'm scared, but I'm scared.
About?
I'm scared of change. I'm scared of change. I'm scared that the grass is not always greener. I'm scared of I have things. People love me here. People respect me here. People allow me to be myself here in the city, and I'm scared that I might never find that ever again. But it's something that I wake up every single day, and only when I take my showers at night, and I think I'm like, maybe I've waited too long, and I see guys playing deep into the playoffs, and I think I'm like, okay, maybe if I switch teams and I go somewhere else and I have a better opportunity, I can play deep in the playoffs, I can go try to chase another championship, because I really want that. And I'm scared that maybe if I don't take that decision, that when I'm going to be 37, 38 years old, hopefully, and I'm retiring, I'm going to say, why you didn't take that risk? And people don't understand it's a risk.
It's a difficult place to be.
Yeah.
I would say that you could always come home.
That'd be awesome.
You've earned that. You'll always be welcomed here.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome if I can go and play and maybe come back. Kevin Garnett did the same thing. I saw this clip of him walking into the arena, and they gave him a standing ovation, and people till this day love him. And some people don't always feel.
They always will.
Yeah.
You've earned that.
Yeah.
They won't take that away from you.
All right, so that was just again a little bit from that conversation, a wide-ranging conversation between Giannis and Jim Paschke and such. And again, if you have 30-some minutes and you have not watched it, to kind of watch it, it's nothing like earth-shattering, nothing like big news breaking worthy or anything like that. But it's just, I think it's good to hear from the athlete himself, because how many times have we said that, can we just hear from so-and-so instead of reports, and instead of sources, and instead of rumors or Reddit or Twitter, or what does he mean by unfollowing somebody on Instagram? We play this what if, or what does he mean, or what do they mean sort of thing. And it's kind of rare. It is rare to hear from the source themselves throughout a decision, throughout a move like this. This is a magnifying move from a franchise and from its star player. And so the fact that Giannis sat down for over 30 minutes to talk to, Jim Paschke, who's retired, but again, if you kind of know the history and the relationship, I mean, Giannis loves Jim Paschke and was really close with him and that. So obviously probably wanted to do it with Jim and just have that comfort level and all that sort of stuff. But to be able to have a guy of Giannis's stature to kind of put it all out there and kind of be open with what's going through his mind, decision process, and all that sort of stuff. We clamor as fans. We ask these athletes to be more open, to be more honest, to speak. And how many times did we say throughout this process, we just want Giannis to say something, speak, come out. What do you really want? Tiptoe around it. And there were at times, I'll admit, during this season, I wish he talked more, or wish he was a little bit more open about everything and just more, just kind of say what you really want. It went a little bit back and forth. So with this whole thing, with that video clip, I think it was a cool gesture on his part to just sit down and put it all out there. And I do truly believe that he would love to come back to Milwaukee and wrap up his career as a Buck. Maybe play the last couple of years. Probably won't be, a star player. Maybe he's still playing at a high level when he's 38, 39. Who knows? We don't know. But I think if he was presented with that opportunity, he would love it. The question would be, would the Bucks do it? Would the Bucks do something similar to what, he referenced Kevin Garnett? Now, you had ownership stuff, and that was kind of a little bit maybe different, and, other issues with that whole thing. But still, I think if presented with that opportunity, Giannis would love to be able to do that. He also he said this: the city of Milwaukee and the state of Wisconsin, I want them to remember this from me. Don't worry about the basket. Don't worry about the championship. Don't worry about the wins. Don't worry about the losses. I tried to be like them. I believe the city of Milwaukee is blue collar. It's people that work extremely hard every single day. They give all their hard-earned money just to come watch the Milwaukee Bucks, to come and feel something, to come to be a part of us. I hope that I was able to represent them the best that I could. And I was like them. I showed up to work. I did everything. I was willing to do all the dirty work just like them. I hope that bringing a trophy to the city meant something to them because it meant so much to me. I want you to hear this from my mouth. The city of Milwaukee will always be in my heart. This is my home, and this is a place that I had my kids. My mom is here. My father is here. My brothers played here. It made me the man that I am today. That will never, ever change. No matter where I am, Milwaukee will always be my city, my team, my family. So there I have it. Kind of, I think, a good bow tie and a good wrap up to the Giannis era in Milwaukee. And now we look to the future, and it's a big unknown of what this Bucks team is going to look like, not only for this year, but what this team is going to look like for the coming years. All right. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to talk some Badgers. We'll talk some Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal. Really curious, interested to get his insight, his opinion on the new Badgers athletic director. What are his thoughts? What side? It feels like a lot of Badgers fans on one side, they don't like it because they look at his tenure as Nebraska's athletic director. The other side, they like it. He's a Barry Alvarez guy. He's a Wisconsin guy. He played football at Whitewater, so you're bringing in a Wisconsin guy. Maybe there's a small portion in the middle that's kind of, I don't know how to feel, and that's honestly where I'm at this whole thing. So I'm curious to get RJ's thoughts on that. He's going to be joining us in about 20 minutes. We're halftime. We're going to take a quick break. We got some news updates, and we'll kick off the third hour. Continue to send me your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday and your I'm Not Saying, but I'm Just Saying. Best ones we'll read up on the air. But we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. All right, here we go. The third hour, kick it off right now on this Tuesday morning of July 7th. Thanks for hanging out with us and, making us a part of your starts. Whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, or streaming online at sportstalk1051.com. Get your smart devices like your Alexa. Download the app, take it on the go. Video stream up and rolling on YouTube this morning. All right. Coming up in about, I don't know what I was going to say there with what the, 15 minutes or so, we'll catch up with RJ Cardinal. Anxious to get his thoughts on the new Badgers athletic director. So we'll chat with RJ about that. It is a Toys and Four to grind my gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears? Send them on over. Make it appropriate so we can read it up on the air. Plus, your best, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. What you got, okay? Text those on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Or again, you can chime in on the Section 105 chat room. So, we got Brewers doubleheader today. So it's a day full of baseball, Brewers baseball. And you can catch both those games right here on 105.1 FM and 790 AM. We've got first game slated to start at 1:15. And Jacob Mizorowski is going to be on the mound for the Brew Crew for game one of this series. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. So be about, 12:40? It'll kick on the FM dial. So Brewers with that comeback win last night, a 4-3 win, kind of a little fun nugget here. With that win, they are now at 500 for their overall National League record for the first time since 1998, the first year that they changed leagues. The Brewers are back to 500 as a National League franchise. Think about that. Like, we knew, a lot of us experienced it. Brewers were not a great franchise in my youth, in the early years, but they've won a lot of games in the last few years. The fact that they finally got back to 500 maybe just kind of tells you it was pretty bad for a long time. That kind of put it in perspective for me, just how not great it was. I mean, 98, they were 74-88, 74-87, 73-89, 68-94. That 2002 season, 56-106, 68-94, 67-94. 2005, they finished 500. 75-87, 83-79. 2007, they finally, it was kind of turned the corner there a little bit. 83-79. 2008, 90-72. The CC Sabathia year. 80-82, 77-85. Ken Maka. 2011, 99-66, 83-79, 74-88, 82-80, 68-94. That 2015 season. So 2015, and then 2016, 73-89. Every year from 2017 till now, except for the COVID year, the Brewers have had a winning record. 86-76, 96-67, 89-73, 29-31. They did make the postseason that year, but 95-67, 86-76, 92-70, 93-69, 97-65, and currently 56-33. I feel comfortable in saying that I think the Brewers will finish this year with a winning National League record from a historical standpoint. I feel like they're going to be on that path. So, but man, that kind of puts it in perspective that it took that long to get back to 500, even though they've been putting together some winning records back-to-back seasons. Just, yeah. Brewers, so the Brewers have won for the 43rd time in 63 games with the win from last night. This is going back to April 26th. Their 43rd win in 63 games. It is the best record in Major League Baseball over that span. This is a team that's getting it done, and yet I think if you asked a lot of Brewers fans, trade deadline, do you want to make moves? There's three things that I think a lot of Brewers fans would love to see an addition, an improvement from. Add another bat, add another bullpen arm, and now because of the, injury to Brandon Woodruff, maybe another veteran starting pitcher. Yet they continue to rack up these wins. They continue to get it done. We'll see right now if the Brewers, with a doubleheader today, if they can increase that lead within a division over, I know the Cubbies are in there too, but really kind of push the Cardinals further down. Brewers currently 8.5 above the Cardinals. Cardinals are in third place. The Cubs, 6.5 back. They're going to begin a series, the Cubs are, against the Baltimore Orioles today. So, you think the Cubs should be able to take care of that series, but who knows? But, I mean, Brewers really have a heck of an opportunity here to really kind of plummet the Cardinals down into the National League Central standings, at least the National League Central standings, because if we look at it from a wild card standings, Cardinals are just half game out. But lo and behold, the Miami Marlins have entered the conversation. They are holding on to that third wild card spot if we look at the standings right now. A lot of baseball to be played, but Miami sneaking up there, man. I mean, you look at it, that NL East is turning into a division race. It looked like the Braves for the longest time were going to run away with that thing, and now the Phillies are just 3 back, and the Marlins are 4 back from the Braves. I honestly feel, man, I don't know. We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I understand this, but it's kind of a fun conversation to have. You're looking at the National League here. Brewers have the second best record in the National League behind the Dodgers. Dodgers are expected to be at 60 wins. Brewers have the second best record in all of Major League Baseball. If this continues down this path, how do you not give Pat Murphy another Manager of the Year flipping award? Although I feel like it's going to go to whoever wins the NL East. If it's the Braves, I feel like it's going to be them. If it's the Phillies, Don Mattingly for turning around the franchise this year. Marlins, because it's the Marlins. I almost feel like whoever wins the East is going to get it. But maybe if it turns into the AL Central type of race, then maybe they won't. But man, what's going on and down in Brewtown with the water? How do you not try to bottle that up if you're a franchise? Brewers have the second best run differential in the National League and second best run differential across Major League Baseball. The only team better than them, the Dodgers. There are only 2 teams right now with over a plus 100 or higher in run differential. That is your Milwaukee Brewers. Insane. All right, tell you what, let's take a quick break. We're going to switch gears here for a little bit, and we're going to get back to talking some Badgers. Mr. RJ Cardinal is going to join us. Let's talk some new athletic director with him, shall we? Let's do it up. We'll take a quick break and be back with more after these few words. Summer is here, and that means it is the perfect time to give your home a fresh new look with the help from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether you are updating a family room, finishing a basement, or maybe refreshing a bedroom, or finally tackling that remodeling project you've been putting off, Carpet City Flooring Center has flooring options you are looking for. From beautiful luxury vinyl planks to carpet tile and more, you'll find quality products and expert guidance every single step of the way. Their experienced team will help you find the right flooring to fit your style, your budget, and with professional installation available, your project can be completed quickly and correctly. Hey, make this summer the summer that you transform your home. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today and discover why so many area homeowners trust Carpet City Flooring Center for all of their flooring needs. Let's talk some Badgers. I've been anxious, curious to talk to our guy, Mr. RJ Cardinal, and to get his thoughts on the new athletic director for the Wisconsin Badgers. First off, good morning, RJ. How you doing?
Morning, doing good. How are you?
Not bad, man. Not bad. Living a dream. Yeah, same as always. So,
Yeah.
all right.
All we can ask, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So, all right. Let's just go right to it. Sean Eichhorst is the new athletic director for the Wisconsin Badgers. Whitewater grad, played football there, worked under Barry Alvarez, had stops for a hot minute at Miami, Nebraska, recently was with Texas. Your first reaction, your first thought when you heard it was Sean getting the athletic director spot?
It was kind of along the lines of this just seemed like a normal, everyday Wisconsin hire.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't unexpected. It wasn't expected. It was just one of those, I guess. He knows the athletic department. He's been here before. He knows the state itself well. It wasn't really a reaction that was like, wow, home run hire, and it wasn't a reaction of you hate this.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of right down the middle of a hire that, is, I guess, somewhat expected for the Wisconsin athletic department.
So, not the flashy hire and such. And I've seen, some Nebraska fans kind of having some fun with this because he was the athletic director at Nebraska, fired Bo Pelini and such. And I think that's where maybe some Wisconsin fans are a little concerned with the hire. Is that a legit concern, or are your thoughts kind of like that was, 10 years ago or such, and college sports, college football has changed quite a bit, and maybe you kind of look at, okay, he's coming from Texas, which, from all accounts has been doing a pretty good job in the NIL department, and maybe you're looking at it from a glass half full approach that way?
I'm looking at more the Bo Pelini thing was a blip in the radar. I think he was under pressure there to have the football program do better, and probably made a firing based on donors saying this guy's got to go, and then had to do a panic hire when nobody really wanted the job.
Mm-hmm.
And I think more so, Nebraska found out where they are in the pecking order, rather than an AD making a very rash decision and more along the lines being told what to do. Because he was doing a great amount of fundraising for the new basketball arena they built while he was there. While he was at Miami, he hired Jim Larinaga to take over the basketball program, which kind of vaulted them into some of the best basketball they've been playing as a program ever. Wasn't around long enough to make a football hire there. But I think overall, and especially at Texas, they kind of heralded him for being a fundraiser kind of guy. And right now, Wisconsin needs a lot of that. I mean, when you have to go to the government to ask for taxes to be put in across the state to help debt relief within the athletic department, something's got to be a little wrong there. So we'll see how he does as he reaches out to some of the major donors here at UW, and how he can reestablish a line of communication that people feel wasn't there under McIntosh.
Now, correct me with your timeline. Was he the deputy AD at Wisconsin while you were still there with the football team, or did your times not intertwine?
They overlapped because he left in 11, something like that. But yeah, so I was there for the period of time where he was initially hired up until I had graduated. So I have met him, not in any like official capacity outside of him being down on the sidelines at practice and just saying hi to people and things like that. So can't really say one way or another that I know him and he's a good guy, but everybody seems to like him, and he was nice to everyone around him. It wasn't like a guy who just looked at managers or support staff and kind of brushed them off and wasn't there for them. But it seems, like I said, this is a Wisconsin hire, but at least it's somebody with some experience.
Mm-hmm. So would you say outside of fundraising and all that, is priority number one trying to fix this program? And what does this hire say for maybe Luke Fickell, or does that not change what's at stake for Luke Fickell this year?
I don't think it changes what's at stake for Luke Fickell. One way or another, he's got to win, and by winning, you get to keep your job. I think whoever, if anybody else would have been hired, it would be the same scenario. If you're not winning, you're not really pulling your weight in terms of the contract you have that you're pulling in, and you're really the generator that is going to get this athletics program back to bringing in money. Even though like some of the other sports are winning, people aren't throwing money at those sports like they would football. Enrollment and applications don't go up just because hockey, men's and women's hockey, volleyball, and basketball win. It's all driven by football. So like this university is very dependent on the football program. So it's about getting that right. Now, right now, it's not like you're going to make a firing before the season starts here and hire somebody new, but I'm pretty sure one of these first discussions with people at the athletic department he's going to have, and it is with Fickell. And I don't think Fickell doesn't know what the expectations are going to be, but I mean, you gotta make a bowl game here, and work on getting this program back on track, in order to help out the athletic department. So yeah, it's I don't think that changes at all, but keep everything else status quo, because most of the non-revenue sports appear to be on the right track.
Do you think there was anything to it that, okay, he's a Barry Alvarez guy, worked under Barry Alvarez, or was that just a happy circumstance with everything?
I mean, you'd like to say there's nothing to that and it's a happy circumstance, but there's got to be something here where, people thought Barry was on the outs of pulling the strings and all that, but it still does seem like it's a Barry Alvarez hire here. So I'd say that probably had a lot to do with it, because you don't hire a search firm and create the whole search committee. Glad they only paid $150,000 to the search firm. That's like just a small drop in the bucket. Mm-hmm. But I think you did your due diligence there to make the search firm and the committee feel like they had some input. But I mean, this just feels like they already knew what they wanted, and had to put up a show to be able to take the mandatory state waiting period before they hire somebody.
Mm-hmm. So when you're looking now that this is a few days old and such, and I know Sean's, talked to the media and in that, I mean, what would you say to Badgers fans right now who are maybe a little bit on the fence or disappointed in the hiring because it wasn't a flashy hire or wasn't a name that was initially rumored to be out there? What would you tell Badgers fans?
Well, I think as a Wisconsin way, I don't think we were ever flashy hires usually don't work out here.
Yeah.
We're looking at one right now in the football, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's something that can be said where we have an athletics director now who I think has enough connections throughout this state that he can at least get support back on board for the athletic department. And with that comes more money. And with that, now in this day and age, NIL dollars in the way it's properly supposed to be done, not the way it's supposed to be done, can start fielding, hopefully, more competitive teams as we move forward here, especially in football. And like I said, those go hand in hand. When football's doing good, the money's going to be coming in. So I think this was a hire to stabilize the athletic department in terms of solely bringing in dollars to earn the trust back of the people that McIntosh kind of turned away from. So, you don't want to say it's a good old boys network, but it kind of is.
Yeah. And, I don't think anybody maybe kind of thought this for McIntosh, but maybe this seems like, all right, this is like the final spot in Eichhorst's career too. Like there's no, going to another program or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't think a lot of people thought McIntosh would leave Wisconsin this early in his tenure, but it seems like this is maybe almost Sean Eichhorst's dream job at this point.
Yeah, he kind of did allude to that in some of the videos that they put out and things like that. When it talked about coming home, you could see him get a little teary-eyed, and he did say this is a destination for him. So hopefully, like you said, that means this is his last stop, and he'll enjoy a good tenure as an athletic director and retire as Wisconsin's athletic director and just, end his career here.
Yeah. I know it's a few days old, but, I mean, got to throw it out there. It's something new. We're going to see some Culver's badges on some Badger jerseys there, RJ. I mean, I can't think of – I mean, that's probably one of the few. If there was people – I know some fans don't like it. They don't like sponsor logos on jerseys and stuff. But, I mean, come on. When it's Culver's, I mean, that at least fits. I mean, you could have had Quick Trip on there too. But what does a sponsorship like that help do? Is this something to help generate more money to the NIL fund or what would you say to fans that saying, oh, come on, why do we got to add a sponsor logo on jerseys now?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure if that goes into NIL or just goes right to athletics. So I've been trying to look to see where any figures are, but it doesn't say really what it's for. And I guess in this day and age, the more ambiguous it is, the more athletics can use that to pay players. Mm-hmm. So as long as it's not in official writing, we'll see what happens there. But it's one of those where it's about time, especially the way things are going and the revenue streams you have to start tapping into, especially when the donor dollars aren't there as where they have been in the past. So we have ad patches now. I'm not sure how much the deal is for, but it's on football, men's basketball, men's hockey. Hopefully, that can spread throughout the athletic department and get on other jerseys too. It seems odd that you also didn't include women's hockey and volleyball in there, but it's a good first step into a new revenue stream that wasn't happening before. We'll see if, who knows, maybe we'll start seeing advertising past the Culvers on the court at the Kohl Center. Don't know if that'll end up turning into more stuff on the turf at Camp Randall, or things like that. But it's like I said, dipping the toe in a new revenue stream.
Mm-hmm. I know we're getting set for football season upcoming, and which means we've seen some early season predictions already, and depending on which predictions you're looking at for what websites and such, it's still not favorable to Wisconsin. Do you still believe, with the new athletic director in place too, that Fickle at bare minimum has to go to a bowl game to maybe keep his job for the following year? Or do you think that's not even enough anymore because it's a new athletic director?
I would say 6-6 and a bowl game isn't the way to go. Go 7 or 8 wins and a bowl game might get you another year, solely because of that recruiting class that you have coming in. That's one of the top ones, and we've seen an influx of cash now into the program this year that brought in a good transfer portal class. Now we know, just because of a team's brand new, hopefully you'd think that brand new team could get 3 to 4 more wins than they did the year before, but there's no guarantees like that anymore. We've seen, teams be built and ultimately fail across college football. We've also seen things like Indiana, where they threw money at it and it finally worked for them, making 2 playoff appearances and are national champions now. So, I think if there shows at least an improvement in the win column, and then an improvement on play on field, you'll be able to judge moving forward that there have been improvements, and crazy how money helps solve problems. So this season will be the big turning point for this athletic department.
He's RJ Cardinal, our Badger guy down in Madison. Dude, appreciate the time as always. And we're getting closer to football. When does camp, like beginning of August, end of July? What's that typical timeline again?
Pretty sure it's the beginning of August this year, because we don't play until September 6th. So when you get that usually week 0 game, you'll start at the end of July. But they get an extra week before they got to report down to Camp Randall this year.
All right. Well, hey, we appreciate the time, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Sounds good. We will talk to you later.
You got it. There you go. RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning. Hey, we've got really quick potential breaking Brewers news, rumors. There's reports out there on social media. Luis Lara getting called up for the Brewers. That's one of the reports was just dropped about 20 minutes ago. So let's hit that up. We'll take a quick break and talk some more Brewers coming up after these few words. For today and tomorrow only, you can save $5 when you spend $50 at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Just head to their Facebook page and screenshot their latest ad, their 2-day deal where you spend $50 and get $5 off. So screenshot that, present it to the cashier at the register, or use the online code and get $5 off your order when you spend $50 or more. And if you haven't checked out the latest flyer for Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, do yourself a favor because there's a lot of good stuff on there for sale this week. We're talking about $3.99 a pound Northwest red cherries, 10 for $10 Chobani yogurt. How about potentially $2.99 Tombstone frozen pizzas? Heck yeah, man, that is a heck of a deal. $2.99 Doritos. Oh, man, my kid would be in heaven if that was what he could eat every single day. So, and don't forget, when you shop at our good friends at Hy-Vee, you can also save some money at the gas pump with their fuel savers. So, as always, make sure you're following their Facebook page for the latest sales and the great deals, all happening at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. All right, so there is a report out there. Now, I haven't seen it officially from any of the Brewers reporters, but this comes from Daniel Alvarez Montaz, director and writer for El Extra Base. He had posted just literally like 20, 25 minutes ago that the Brewers are calling up Luis Lara. Again, haven't seen it from a Brewers specific writer so far. I'm talking like our guy Hunter or Adam McCulvey or Todd Rosiak or anything like that. But all right. So what does that mean? Whose job's in trouble, right? I mean, that's kind of where my mind went. Garrett Mitchell is hitting the ball incredibly well. Is it Sal Frelick? Sal Frelick's been better. I wonder if this is, with the doubleheader today, is it just for today's series? I wonder if it's just for that. Or if it is for the long term for the rest of the regular season, I think this maybe doesn't bode well for one Sal Frelick. So, as a reminder, Major League Baseball teams are allowed to add a 27th man to their active roster for scheduled doubleheaders. This rule lets clubs temporarily promote an extra player from the minors, provided they are already on the team's 40-man roster, which they will have to do for Lara. Now, that may mean that, okay, you put Hamilton on the injured list. So maybe it's for just that, if this is all on the up and up. But it's interesting because currently right now the Brewers, if we go to Brewers.com and look at who are on the 40-man roster, let's bring it up here from a position player standpoint. You've got Contreras, Jefferson Quiro, Gary Sanchez, Jake Bowers, David Hamilton, Joey Ortiz, Cooper Pratt, Bryce Terang, Andrew Vaughn, Baddoo, Chirio, Frelick. So Luis Lara is on there. Brandon Lockridge, Garrett Mitchell, Blake Perkins. Is that okay? Brewers.com actually has him listed on the 40-man roster. So, But I would imagine for the other spot, Hamilton probably on the. Yeah, because he's not on the active. Yeah, he's not on the active. I think they kind of maybe mixed that one up. He'd have to be on the active roster then. So, okay. Something to monitor. Maybe we'll get something more before we wrap up at 10. But, yeah, according to reports, Luis Lara getting called up for the Brewers. How are you feeling about that? It's interesting. Again, I wonder if it's just for potentially today with that extra 27-man. But because, again, Garrett Mitchell, last night's, again, a couple hits for him. If we're looking at, it's between Mitchell or Sal Frelick, unless there is a mystery injury again that we don't know. But you look at Sal Friedrich, my guy, Summer of Sal. Last 21 ABs, he's hitting 286. His last 15 games, heck, his last 30 games. His last 30 games, Sal Friedrich is hitting 301. Garrett Mitchell, his last 30 games is hitting 330. Last 26 at-bats, 462. And Garrett Mitchell's also displaying some of the power. I can't see them sitting him. Friedrich, yes, his average is up. He's making some great defensive plays so far. But, that is interesting because if you bring up Laura, you're playing him. We shall see if it is on the up and up. Maybe some more moves because I feel like if you're going to put Hamilton on the injured list, who's your other infielder that, from the left side? Because you are one injury away. If Hamilton is going to miss some time, because Jet Williams got to be on the 40-man, right? Jet Williams is not on the 40-man. Okay, so Jet Williams is not on the 40-man. That one's a little interesting. So you'd have to put somebody on the... You'd have to clear a spot for that 40-man. But, okay, anyways, where I was going with this, if Hamilton's on the injured list, you don't have a backup infielder that's not a first baseman. Because it's Cooper Pratt, Joey Ortiz, Bryce Terang. You're an injury away from being, unless they try Sal as the backup third baseman again, or Andrew Vaughn getting some more reps at third base. More to come. All right, let's take a quick break as we start to wrap up the third hour. We'll be right back after these quick words. Coming up next Thursday, July 16th, it's another Tailgate Thursday at the Eau Claire Express game. And we're going to go big because it's the pregame to 40, man. Pregame to 40 for me. I'll turn 40 the next day. Oh. Give me some tips for all of you who have turned 40. What's it like? The closer it gets, I'm getting a little nervous, okay? I'm getting a little nervous. So if you got any tips, advice, say, knock it off. Just give me a little pep talk here, all right? Or you could also just come and hang out with us. We're going to tailgate kind of over by, it sounds like, the Hake Aaron statue and such. So we'll have some games going on, some samples going on. Get your tickets to the game, and let's hang out. And let's make, you know what, let's make Carson Park loud that night. All right, let's get it loud. Loud and rocking. So, you know, people from the west side of Eau Claire can hear it in their neighborhoods. All right, let's get it loud and rocking. So get your express tickets for next Thursday, July 16th, for our next Tailgate Thursday event. It's the pregame to 40. Pregame to 40 tailgate event. I think we're going to start around 4 o'clock for some tailgating fun. So looking forward to it coming up next Thursday. Just a few minutes left to the top of the hour. So final call as we enter the final hour coming up here. What's your Toyston Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday? What you got? Hit me up. Text it on over to that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. 715-830-1912. What is your Grind My Gears? How about your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying? I got another one. I'm not saying Sal Frelick's going to be traded or anything like that, but I'm just saying I'm nervous with the report that Luis Lara is getting called up, that my guy, Sal Frelick, might be getting some limited playing time here. Maybe, again, it's just for the what? Maybe it's just because it's the doubleheader. Maybe, but I'm nervous. I'm really nervous. We'll kind of see how this all plays out, but if you got any more, send them on over. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Okay? If you got any final thoughts, one more final goodbye to Giannis. You know, we never did this, so let's maybe do this in the final hour. If you had to give Giannis a message. So Giannis did a 30-plus minute video, kind of a goodbye. It's a very good Midwestern goodbye. It takes forever. You have any parting words for Giannis? Now that we're doing one final goodbye? Any parting words that you would like to share? Because he's probably listening to the program right now, so if you say it, he'll hear it. What I would say, you know, what's some of your lasting memories in that? I mean, it'd be hard not to say championship and just making, I'd say just in general, making Bucks basketball relevant. Some would say saving Bucks basketball in the state of Wisconsin, championships, MVPs, and that. For me, it's just making it relevant and making it. I just think in a sports world, you know, 2026, with a lot of the athletes and their personalities, such, it's a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, to see somebody like Giannis, who I think is, and I don't know him personally, but I think is down to earth, sincere in a lot of the things that he says and a lot of the things that he does. So I don't know. G-Man, it's about time we got a 6-2 victory prediction from you. G-Man saying Brewers are going to win 2 games and the score will be 6-2 today. Yes, sir. 6-2 in both games there, G-Man? With the doubleheader? Got to be, right? 6-2 in both games. All right. So, shot clock's going to cut me off in a minute. So, again, hit me up with your Toyston Ford Grind My Gears Tuesdays and your I'm Not Saying, I'm Just Saying. We'll talk some more Brewers as we get set for this doubleheader, but maybe we'll see a new Brewer being suited up today if these reports are true with Lara being activated or promoted, I should say, to the big league club. I mean, he's putting up great numbers at AAA. It was bound to happen. I mean, he's 321, 9 home runs, a 902 OPS, 24 stolen bases. Yeah. Those are some sick numbers, and those are numbers that if you're putting up at AAA, it is really hard for the team to not promote you at some point. It's just you kind of have a logjam now at outfield. All right. We got news updates, and then we'll kick off the final hour, the happy hour, coming up here in just a few minutes. So stick around. We'll be back after these quick words. All right, final hour, happy hour on this Tuesday morning. Thanks for hanging out with us, participating, tuning in, whatever you want to call her. Bucks just tweeted, "Welcome home, Tyler Hero." All right, Bucks, do you want the Bucks to keep Tyler Hero, or do you want them to try to ship him off and get some picks? I think if you're not going to commit to him long term, you got to ship him. You got to trade. I wouldn't be surprised if they open up the season with him, but maybe he's like a trade deadline type of deal. Because if you're not going to commit to him long term, because he's going to be a free agent after this year, you got to move on from him. If you're going to be able to fetch some picks from him. So I think, if anything, we may see Tyler Hero get traded during the season, like towards the trade deadline. You open up the season, you sell some tickets because he's the hometown kid, suiting up in a Bucks uniform. You make some moolah there. You sell some jerseys. You sell some swag. Season's not going the greatest. So you go and I think you open up the season with Tyler Hero and then maybe potentially trade him by the trade deadline. Again, if you don't commit. We've got Tim in the Cooley region with a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday, so what's grinding your gears, peeps? Tim coming in saying, "Grind my gears is continuing to use Yelich at DH when he is in a big-time slump. We need more production from the DH position. If the only thing you have to do is hit and not play the field, you should be better than a .215 batting average." Yeah, he's in a big-time slump right now. You look at his last 30 games, and Yelich is hitting just .215 and slugging .306, and it gets worse if you break it down. His last 55 at-bats, just a $127. His last 7 games has a homer, but 0-4-2. 0-4-2. Not to be a conspiracy person, but if this Laura call-up is legit, could it be like Yelich is on the injured list and then Bowers kind of moves into, or Vaughn moves into the DH role, and then you bring in a Laura? I don't know. I'm trying to rack my brain on this Laura call-up. I mean, numbers-wise, he 100% deserves to be called up. And I am probably coming from the side of I'm a big Sal Frelick fan, so I want to see him in the lineup, but, I mean, numbers don't lie. You got a guy batting over 300. He's already got 24 stolen bases. He's got 9 dingers and such. You got to call this guy up. I'm just curious, where does he fit? And again, maybe over-exaggerating here. It could just be the extra man for the doubleheader. But I still feel they need to make a move for an infielder, because if David Hamilton is going to go on the injured list, well, shouldn't you call up Jed Williams? That feels like the obvious one. At least to me it does. Now, Jed Williams, I'm trying to find some breakdowns here. He finished the month of June just hitting .205. But so far in July, he is hitting .421 in 5 games. No dingers. .526 slugging. I don't know. I'm a little perplexed at this. We'll see how it... Again, nothing officially official from the Brewers or even like a Brewers reporter that I have seen about this Lara call-up, but it's out there. It's definitely out there. So a few of you saying trade Hero for picks. We've got Matt says, agree. I think they open up the season with Tyler Hero, but he is gone by the trade deadline with the Brewers capitalizing on his play this year. There's two parts to this. Tyler Hero could be like the main guy. He puts up some great numbers in his final year of his contract. Maybe improves his stock in the trade market and you get more in return. The other side of this is it is a risk because what if he gets hurt? Right? I mean, what if he gets hurt? Then you kind of potentially lose out on what you could get in return. So I still say they're going to open up with him, sell some tickets, run with the hometown kid, sell some swag, and they're going to trade him by the deadline. If you're not going to commit to him long term, you got to trade him and move on from him at some point. Just maybe don't buy the jerseys yet, peeps. That's what if my kid comes to me and says he wants a Tyler Hero Buck jersey, I might try to say, no. Let's wait a little bit. Let's pump the brakes. We're not going to full throttle that one. We're going to pump the brakes there a little bit. That's just me though. So we've got a few more texts. This is from John. John says, I really hope the Brewers do call up Jet Williams because they need another left side infielder, and it's time just to give Jet Williams a shot to win the third base job on a permanent basis. Nick with the text saying, I'm curious where Lara fits in this rotation with the outfielders. Mitchell has been hot. Frelick has been better as of late, and nobody's a better defender in right field than Sal Frelick. So wonder if this is just the extra man. It very well could be. Because let's see. Okay. I just saw McCulvey tweet it, but it wasn't anything about that. So I'll keep you posted if anything does happen in the next 50 minutes or so before we're done, but still nothing really official yet from the because if you bring up Lara, you're playing him. He's not coming to be the extra man sitting on the bench. You're playing him. You have to play him. But I wonder if it's like Jefferson Kiro earlier on in the season when they had, they brought him up for just a couple games. Could very well be that same situation. I think it just gets heightened because Luis Lara has the long-term contract now. If Luis Lara didn't have the long-term contract, it's probably not maybe kind of like we're probably not trying to figure out how does this work? How does this play out? The fact that he has that long-term contract, the fact that we know the Brewers are investing in him in long-term, you look at that call-up and it's like, is he staying there then? Is this the call-up and then he stays? And if he stays, whose job is he taking? All right, let's take a quick break. We'll talk some more Brewers, though. Send me your grind my gears and your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. And whatever the heck else is on your mind. Giannis, Brewers, getting closer to Packers training camp, Badgers athletic director, all that stuff. We'll take a quick break. Be right back after these few words. case you're just joining us, there are reports out there that Luis Lara is being called up to the Brewers. Okay, McCulvey just retweeted it, so I got to imagine that there's a little something there. So Luis Lara being called up for the Brewers. Remember, he signed that 7-year, $31 million extension with the Brewers last month. Another example of a young prospect getting a long-term deal. Again, I'm curious to see how this all fits. Numbers-wise, Lara, you have to promote him. I mean, this season in AAA, he's hitting .321. He's got an OPS of a .902, 9 home runs, on base .432, 24 stolen bases. You have to. You have to promote him with those numbers. It's just the question is, where does he fit? Garrett Mitchell is playing really well. Sal Frelick has been hitting better. So where does it all fit? Where does it all go? Maybe it's just because it's a doubleheader, so that's the extra 27th man. Could be something as simple as that. We'll have to wait and see what maybe a corresponding move is, but I still feel they need to go out there and call up maybe a Jet Williams or another infielder. If David Hamilton truly is going to be on the injury list, which it sounded like from Pat Murphy yesterday with that hamstring injury, you need another infielder. You need to do that. I know he's not a Brewer anymore, but Will Salmon, who used to cover the Brewers, and we've had it on our program many times now, works for The Athletic, covers the Mets. He has a good piece up about Freddie Peralta, what I'm hearing and seeing on the Mets, Freddie Peralta, a key trade candidate. Apparently Freddie, for the first time, called his own pitches. Said after a poor outing last week amid a subpar season, New York Mets starter Freddie Peralta, one of the market's biggest trade candidates, decided to make a notable change. Peralta determined he would go into his start Monday night against the Braves with the intention of calling some of his own pitches using PitchCom for the first time this season. Sometimes as a pitcher, I like to follow my instincts, he said. After the Mets' 7-6 win in 10 innings, situations in the game don't allow us or give us enough time to think or decide on one pitch or the other. So I had it there just in case, in any situation, if I had to trust in one pitch. On the surface, Peralta's start Monday seemed forgettable because it was another short outing in a season containing too many of them. He allowed 3 runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts while throwing 2 wild pitches and hitting 1 batter in just over 4 2/3. A deeper dive, however, suggests Peralta inch closer to getting right. That's vital for him, the Mets, and whichever team ends up acquiring him before the August 3rd trade deadline. Here's how I'm going to bring it back to a Brewers thing. We've talked a lot about the pitching lab. Chris Hook deserves a ton of credit. And we've talked about the pitchers that have left the Brewers and seen kind of how their careers have gone since then. Whether it was Devin Williams and going to a bigger market, did that affect him? Is what's affecting Freddie Peralta right now. You know, Corbin Burns, I think a lot of it is right now he's just dealing with injuries and such. I want to throw another nomination, if you will, into this. While I think a lot of that credit is because of how the pitchers or how the Brewers develop pitchers, and Chris Hook and Henderson in that pitching lab, what about the catchers? I mean, you look at it from the Brewers in the last couple of years, too, especially last few years, they have a pretty good one. And you look at the success of this pitching staff for the last couple of years and the amount of youth and inexperience and all the different guys to have come through it. You look at Contreras. Even before Contreras, you had, Lucroy and such. But I think that's one thing that gets overlooked at times is how is the catcher handling that pitching staff. You just heard it. Freddie Peralta called pitches for the first time in his career. He didn't have to worry about that with Contreras. You know, these pitchers, and we heard it earlier in the season too, like Mizorowski and some of those guys talking about what it means to them to have a guy like Contreras behind the dish, the trust that they have in him. And that's, I don't want to take away anything about Chris Hook, the pitching lab, because they deserve all the credit in the world. I just think that there is maybe some leftover credit or some, credit that's not getting pushed towards Contreras a little bit more and what the catchers do. Heck, you want to throw Gary Sanchez in there too, throw Gary Sanchez in there. But I think that's a part that maybe the Brewers don't get enough credit for because they kind of look at, okay, we ask a lot from our pitchers. We go through, we throw a lot of young guys out there and such. We need to make sure that we have catchers that can, handle that too. And we want to have that other coach out there, that other guy that can call pitches, that can handle his pitching staff. And I think that's an underrated aspect of this team, and the underrated success from the pitchers as a whole is who's the guy behind home plate? Who's the guy behind the dish? So I think you got to tip your cap. You got to tip your cap to Contreras and the catching department because they do a ton for those guys. It can't be the easiest thing, too, for those catchers to work with so many younger pitchers, inexperienced pitchers. Look at this year, for crying out loud. Okay, you got Miz in his second year. Then you throw in a newcomer in Kyle Harrison, Shane Drowan, Brandon Sproat, Logan Henderson's like second year. They've thrown in some openers and doing all this different stuff. And you got Contreras and Sanchez just doing their thing back there. It's an underrated aspect that doesn't get enough credit, is the job that those guys are doing with this pitching staff. So we throw out the question, or like, okay, what happens to these pitchers when they leave Milwaukee? Why do they go downhill? Why do things kind of turn south? Is it because they leave Chris Hook in that pitching system? Yeah, that's probably part of it. Is it injuries? Is it bigger market? So, yeah, that's probably part of it. But don't discredit the value of having a good catcher behind the dish, helping out these pitchers, managing these pitching staff, and, calling the game too. I think that's part of it that gets overlooked. Shout out to catchers. If you got a good one, keep them around, man. Brewers have a good one right now. But I don't think they're going to keep them long term because they got another one, Jefferson Curo, who they really like. What is Contreras? Let me, just out of curiosity. This is my kid's favorite baseball player, so this is going to break his heart whenever the Brewers do decide to move on from him. His contract is... Oh, yeah, he has that club option for 2027 at $14.5 million. And then 2028, he's an unrestricted free agent. Oh, gosh, it's coming sooner than I thought. Oh, man. All right. Dude, such a good player. Gosh, he's such a great player. Wow. Okay, we got to take a quick break as we are halfway through the final hour right now. So last call for any Toyson 4 to Grind My Gears Tuesdays and any more I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. What you got? All right, send them on over. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, so we have an update on the whether Luis Lara is going to be called up or not. Adam McCulvey, literally just a couple minutes ago from Brewers.com saying, sorry to pump the brakes, but Luis Lara is not a big leaguer just yet, I'm told. The Brewers are awaiting the result of an early morning MRI for David Hamilton, and that will dictate the move, parentheses S, moves, today. Several players in motion this morning, it sounds like. So several. Does that include Joe Williams? I would imagine another pitcher is going to be in there too. If it's several, maybe it's just several options and there's only like one move or two moves, right? Maybe there's that. But I mean, if David Hamilton is going to miss some time where he's going to be on the injured list, you have to promote an infielder that plays the left side. And right now, when you look at it, isn't that option Jet Williams? It's not going to be Andrew Fisher yet. Okay, it's not going to be him yet. Or do you go with, all right, let's bring it up here. Do you go, just looking at some of the options here. I don't think it'll be Brock Wilken. I mean, you got Luke Adams, who he's 13 home runs this year, 252 average. He's got a 1.012 OPS. Maybe, I mean, okay, you want a little bit more pop? Maybe it's a Luke Adams. Eduardo Garcia is there, but he's more of a shortstop. I mean, then you got Eddie's Leonard, who's hitting 297. He's got 10 home runs and 881 OPS. So where's, I'm just curious. Can you play a little third base? I'll have to see if that's I'm trying to do this on the fly here. All right. Anyways, you've got another one, Ethan Murray. Like I said, Brock Wilken is only 181 with 7 home runs. I don't see that. Freddie Zamora, 200. I feel like if there's going to be one, it's going to be Leonard or Jets. Maybe Luke Adams if you want a little bit more pop from that third base. But at least with Jet Williams, you'd have a little bit more of a versatility to it. I don't believe, let me double check with the 40-man. I don't believe, Luis Lara was already on the 40-man. So I don't know what that one piece says that he had to be promoted to the 40-man. I think he was already when he signed that contract. And yeah, he was as the 40-man. So that was a little bit wrong on there. But the 40-man right now for the Brewers is there any of those guys I just mentioned? No. Yeah. All right. Wait and see. There's going to be moves made before today's game. Curious to the route that they go here. Stay tuned. More to come, right? More to come. First pitch for today's game, doubleheader, 1:15. Jacob Mizorowski is on the mound. 1:15, looking probably for a little bit of a bounce back game after giving up a couple home runs in his latest start. So I think that's the expectation, and that's the expectation I have, and I don't think it's putting a lot on his shoulders. I don't think it's asking too much to go out there and say, all right, have a great game. I mean, if he's the ace, that's the expectation I would have for any ace out there. If you're coming off of a little bit of a subpar game, the expectation should always be, you're going to bounce back and you're going to have yourself a good game for your next one. And that's what I have for Jacob Mizorowski today. I think he's going to go out there, and I think he's going to be the Miz that we have seen more times than not this year. He's going to put his team in a position to win the ball game. That's what I have. That's what I'm thinking. And yeah, and then you got game 2 tonight at 6:45. We'll see how that one plays out from a pitching side of things too. So I think, you look at it, and I want to go back to Shane Drone here really quick. What Shane Drone did last night cannot be just swept under the rug. What he did last night with his 6 innings, picking up the win, and then Chad Patrick going in there for a couple innings, and then Trevor McGill, to just use the 3 pitchers when you have a doubleheader coming up today in this 5-game series was big. So for Shane Drone to go out there and pitch 6 innings, and the pitch count, I mean, he only had 85 pitches too. He was very effective. And for Chad Patrick, his 2 innings, just 20 pitches. I would imagine that Trevor McGill might not be available today since he went back-to-back saves. But you got a Uribe. It's kind of the nice thing to have those 2 guys. You can hand the ball off to Uribe in that situation. But Shea Drone, I mean, a good game from him last night. A really good game, a very solid game, and a game that this pitching staff, this bullpen needed him to go get a little bit of length. And Chad Patrick being incredibly efficient with his 2 innings of work too. Shane Drone now has a 2.97 ERA on this season. Whether he has been a bullpen guy and now a starter as of late here, it has been another good pickup for this Brewers team. But with the doubleheader being today, and I know it's still officially a TBD or TBA to be announced for game 2, the fact that they were able to only use 2 guys out of their pen, and even Chad Patrick only threw 20 pitches in 2 innings, they should be in decent shape for who's available today. I would imagine the only guy, again, not available out of the pen might be McGill. But that was a heck of a performance from Shane Drone last night to put them in a position here. If Miz can go 6-7 this afternoon, hopefully has a nice lead so you don't have some high leverage arms that you have to use. Offense, give him some early run support. Give him something to work with here. Let him do his thing. Let him get a double-digit K performance. And then you go into game 3 and, all right, you got a little bit of a bigger deck to choose from. Some other options to choose from. We have anything? I keep refreshing this to see if there's any more updates on this thing. Because this I think this Lara one kind of came out of nowhere. Again, numbers wise, it's no big surprise. It's just, where does he fit with the way Mitchell's been playing? I mean, you don't take Mitchell out of the lineup right now. He's been hitting really well. Sal Frelick has been hitting better, not to the level of Mitchell. And then you have an injury to, you're an infielder, and then you call up Lara. Man, I'm curious to see how this all plays out and what the actual decisions are. We should know pretty soon, though. Pretty soon. All right. With that, we got to take our final break, and then we'll make some picks. We got baseball games. We got a couple more grind my gears to get to and such, so we'll hit that up as we start to wrap up things in the final segment. Quick break, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. All right, let's start to wrap up things here this morning as we make some picks. Get set for this doubleheader that we've got for the Brew Crew coming up here. Well, first let's do let's do some World Soccer picks. How you feeling this morning, soccer fans, about Team USA falling 4-1 to Belgium? Ugh, it was kind of an ugly game last night, wasn't it? But where do you go from here? We'll maybe talk a little bit more about that after the dust settles tomorrow and that. But we've got Argentina versus Egypt. I'm going to go Argentina. And then we've got, is it Switzerland versus Colombia? I'm going to go Colombia. So, baseball. Let's get to some baseball picks here. I'll save the Brewers ones towards the end. Chicago, Baltimore. I'm going to go with the Cubs. That should be more specific. It's the Cubs versus Baltimore. I'll go with the Cubs. Athletics versus the Tigers, the Detroit Tigers. Scoobles on the mound. I'm going to go Detroit for this one. Atlanta versus Pittsburgh. Paul Skeens going for Pittsburgh. Atlanta. I mean, Paul Skeens right now is 6-8 with a 3.62 ERA. Boy, he's quite. Is this? Yeah, he's riding quite the losing streak. What is this? Like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's okay. His last 9 games, the Pirates have lost. Okay, he's gotten a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game losing streak. Whew. He's coming off of a Philly game where he gave up 7 earned runs, 4 earned runs against Cincy. You know what? Atlanta's a little bit down. I think Paul Skeens bounces back and Pittsburgh picks up the win. I'll go Pirates tonight. Yankees, Rays. Ooh, this is a big one here too. Yankees trying to get back up into the top spot in the AL East. But I'm going to go with Tampa Bay right now. They're playing better baseball. Seattle versus Miami. Miami in a playoff spot right now. If the playoffs were to start today, and you know what? I'm going to pick the Marlins for tonight. Houston versus the Nationals. Washington picked up a 12-11 win last night. I'll go Nationals again. Why not? Kansas City versus the Mets. So, Royals. Phillies versus the Reds. Give me the Phillies. Boston and the White Sox. Give me the White Sox. Cleveland, Minnesota. Another good series, division series, with that AL Central race going on. I'm going to go with Cleveland. Angels taking on the Rangers. Jacob deGrom, give me the Rangers. Diamondbacks versus the Padres, another big series here. Arizona had the 8-0 win last night. Zach Allen's, I'm going to go Diamondbacks. Toronto versus the Giants. I'll go with the Blue Jays. Rockies versus the Dodgers. I'll go Dodgers. And for the Brewers, I'm going to go split. I think they take game 1 with Mizorowski on the mound, and then I will take the Cardinals to win game 2. So those are my picks for this morning. All right, so coming up tomorrow, we're already halfway through the work week. We're going to catch up with Ty from Slab Factory for a little inside the hobby chat. So we'll hit on that. Talk a little bit about that since it is Wednesday. All right, your normal Wednesday segments coming at you. So this is your homework assignment. All right, what are we doing here? Give me a sports take. Give me a sports opinion, a sports thought, where you'd be like, dude, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And then it's a What If Wednesday. All right, a lot of you have been doing a really good job with, really fun job, actually, with some good what ifs. So think about some what if scenarios. And then we talk about it, hash it out. What if Dame had never gotten hurt? Would it still be Dame and Giannis on the Milwaukee Bucks? What if? What's another one? You know what you get the drill of what if is. So send those on over. Okay. What else do we got on the docket for tomorrow too? And hopefully we're talking about a series win for the Brewers. If they pick up both wins today, they'll win 3 and at least secure a series win and really, really, really push down the Cardinals in the standings in the National League Central. But this is the final week before the All-Star break here too, so hopefully the Brewers can enter the All-Star break playing some good baseball, but also being healthy, heading into the All-Star break as healthy as possible. So we'll see. Maybe if we get Luis Lara playing today. There's a lot of he said, she said, no, pump the brakes. Yeah, it's not going to be him, not going to be him called up in that. We'll see. Well, we're going to find out here pretty darn soon, I would imagine, with the first game at 1:15. But, yeah, I'm curious to see how they play this thing out. I was really surprised when it first dropped that he's getting called up. Numbers-wise, again, I get it. But how does he fit? And you need another infielder right now if Hamilton's going to be on the injured list. Especially with, the way Hamilton plays and the way that they've asked Hamilton to play on an offensive side. A lot of bunting, right? And just sprinting down to first base. If he's even dealing with a little bit of a hamstring issue, you can't play him. That's just going to make it worse. Right? I mean, if his style of ball is what we've seen so far this year, is that speed, bunting, and just scampering down first base to beat it out. A little bit of a hamstring issue, just a little bit, is going to hamper that, and it's going to take away what he has done well for the most part this year. So I think you got to sit him, and then you're going to have to bring up another infielder. So maybe it's Jet, maybe it's somebody else, but I would be surprised if they don't call up another infielder today. I'd be surprised. Some other notes here quick as we start to wrap up. Donovan Mitchell agreed to a $273 million max extension with the Cavaliers. Kyle Lowry retiring as a Raptor after. I did not have this. I did not think Kyle Lowry played for 20 NBA seasons, but he did. 20 NBA seasons. Wow. Yeah. I didn't think it was that long, but sure enough, it was. I got to read this Seth Wickersham article about Sean Payton. I got to find out more details if there's anything on there about, if you missed it, I brought it up earlier in the program. But apparently, Sean Payton, this is per Seth Wickersham, when Bill Belichick and the Patriots went their separate ways, Sean Payton considered presenting the owner of the Broncos, Greg Penner, a proposal to hire Belichick as head coach until he reached 15 wins, enough to break Don Shula's career record of 347. Payton would temporarily step down to assistant head coach and run the offense, then move back after Belichick became the all-time leader. In the end, it was too complicated and maybe too fantasy-like. That's mind-boggling to me that Sean Payton seriously thought of that. On paper, it'd be like, okay, you got Bill Belichick as your head coach. He's probably going to be running the defense too. And then you got Sean Payton running the offensive side, a dynamic duo. But if Belichick wins the Super Bowl with the Broncos, he gets credited with that and not Sean Payton. Like, why was Sean Payton so gung-ho about helping Belichick reach that? I know they're both Bill Parcells guys. But, man, that's weird. That's really weird. Or maybe it was just a fun idea that got exploded and a little bit of that telephone game. You hear a little bit about that, and it just kind of, it went off the wires and it got blown up into a whole lot of nothing. But that's just, I can't wait to see reporters ask that to Sean Payton training camp and get some reaction from that. We know Sean Payton isn't one afraid to kind of speak his mind in front of an open mic too. He's had some he's pretty much an open book at times. So we'll see. But speaking of training camp, we'll continue our Packers training camp countdown tomorrow, taking a look at some of the top storylines, some of the top things to watch as we get set for training camp. Today we talked about Josh Jacobs and the running backs to kick it off, but we'll continue that conversation coming your way tomorrow. All right, have a good rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back at it, same place, same time, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. from the TDS Sports Talk Studios. Your homework assignments again, think about some what ifs. Think about some, what are we doing here? I want to get some good ones tomorrow, all right? Might reward some participation points again. Do that once in a while, so kind of feeling it tomorrow. All right? Have a good one, peeps. All right? Let's do this again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Talk to you then.